productive.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a wonderful idea called productivity dysmorphia. So it's the inability to see your own success. It's like to acknowledge the volume of your own output. So it sits at the intersection of burnout, imposter syndrome, and anxiety. You think of it like ambition's alter ego, basically. Like the pursuit of productivity spurs us to do more while robbing us of the ability to savor any of the successes that we achieve along the way. So first off, people are not particularly good judges of how productive they are. I think so many people are whipping themselves into submission, saying you're not doing enough, because in the past that motivated them to do more.
Yeah.
And after a while, you have to accept, I'm doing quite a lot. And if you were an athlete on a sports team and your coach only ever pointed at you when you made a bad play, you wouldn't feel particularly motivated by that. But a lot of people have this sense of productivity debt. They wake up every day feeling as if they're already behind. And only if they dominate their entire day perfectly can they drag themselves back up to some minimum level of acceptable output. And only then can they go to sleep that night without feeling like a loser. This means that your set point is loss. And the best thing that you can do if you crush the day is get to a draw. You never win. And then there's this sort of weird drill sergeant in the back of your mind that's saying, all right, you can have a little bit of a break now, but just so you know, as soon as you wake up in the morning, it's all going to happen again. And, I'm speaking to a very particular type of mindset here. There is a huge cohort of people on the internet who do need David Goggins screaming in their face, telling them to go harder and sort their life out. The sort of people that listen to your show and listen to Modern Wisdom are probably not in that camp.
Do you know what's surprising? I am in that camp. I'm in the camp of productivity dysmorphia.
Mm-hmm. Of course you are. Why is that surprising? Look at what you've built. How could you not do that if you were seeing how much you did?
I can't really think of many days. And just for context, when I wake up in the morning till 2 a.m. at night, I'm working. But I can't think of many days, or really none come to mind, where I've got in bed and thought, you were productive today.
Fucking crushed it.
You met the standard.
Productivity debt.
Yeah.
You woke up feeling like you're already behind.
100%. Because of yesterday and the week before and the month before and the to-do list.
You see your own shortfalls from a front row seat, right? And this is one of the curses of people who have big dreams, goals for themselves. The size of their goals is always greater than their ability to deliver them. And we assume that by having very, very, very high standards for ourselves, that's, what is it? Shoot for the stars, and even if you don't get it, you'll end up on the moon, something like that.
On the clouds.
Yeah, whatever. That's great for a while, and it's very good at the beginning of your journey. But after a while, I think you just need to give yourself a fucking break, dude. Like, people are destroying themselves in this perpetual sense of not enoughness. They're always chasing the next thing. So all of that is for me to say that people want productivity, desire productivity. I'm just trying to say, you're probably working real hard as it is. That being said, how much do I think about productivity, and how can we twist the knife a little bit more to give people some tools? Best question to ask yourself, if I could only achieve one thing today, start of every day, if I could only achieve one thing today, what would that be? You're only allowed to do one thing. And it's the big thing. It's usually the scary thing. It's usually the thing that you probably don't want to do. How many times does someone go and clean the cupboard in the kitchen that hasn't been touched for 6 months? I'll rearrange all of the plates because they don't want to have that conversation with their boss. Because they don't want to face that particular piece of work, which is big and scary, and I don't really know how to tackle it, how to begin. You will do everything that doesn't need to be done in order to avoid the one thing that does. It's because it's a big, scary task. That people will endure months, years, decades of misery to avoid a couple of days of pain. And that makes sense. It's a good trade in some ways, but over time you're going to accumulate an awful lot of discomfort.
Reminds me of what Nir Eyal said when I interviewed him about procrastination is the avoidance of discomfort. And he really said that most of human motivation is just the avoidance of discomfort. Because I tried to test his idea. I was like, what about having sex? That's surely the pursuit of pleasure. He was like, no, you get horny, which is a form of discomfort. And in order to alleviate it, you go and have sex, or you pursue. Yeah. He said all of our behavior is driven by discomfort. So in your example of, I've got to start the manuscript for my new book, but I end up cleaning the house. It's because
Sounds like a personal example.
No, but it is. It's like, I remember how long I procrastinated on starting my new book because it's like being stood at the foot of Mount Everest, starting a book.
It's huge.
When you think about procrastination, which is part of becoming more productive, what in your mind are the causes of me avoiding the thing that I should be doing?
As far as I can see, there's two main reasons for procrastination. The first one is you don't know what to do. So you have this big book in front of you, but nobody's ever written a book. They've written a sentence, and then that sentence is accumulated over time into pages and paragraphs, and then a book appears. Or you've reviewed a book, you've looked at the edit, you've made a decision about the color for the front cover, but you do what's called a next action from getting things done, David Allen's productivity strategy. People want a really, really great productivity strategy. Getting things done by David Allen is about as good as you can get. You do a next action. So I'm procrastinating over a task. What is the next physical action that I can do that pushes me toward that goal? I need to write an email. Well, you better go and open your email client, right? If you don't have your email client open, it is impossible for you to send the email. Well, actually, before that, I need to sit down at my desk. But actually, before that, I might need to put my pants on. Okay, pants are on. Hooray, I'm moving. I'm down at the desk. All right, there we go. I opened Instagram. Fuck. Okay, close Instagram. Email client. That's the next action. So what is it, like completing a marathon is just a ton of steps, one in front of the other. Like it's just one foot in front of the other. Do this really, really big thing by breaking it down into small chunks. That's the first reason, in my opinion, for procrastination.
Before we move on to the second thing, it reminds me of something Jordan Peterson said to me about why people don't change their life. He said, people don't change their life because the first steps to doing so are so small that it's like embarrassing.
Correct.
And he told me the story of a guy who he was trying to get to change his life. This person wouldn't leave their bedroom, plates stacked to the ceiling, messy bedroom. And on day one, he walks in, they put a vacuum cleaner in there, they do nothing else. Day two, they come back, they plug it in, nothing else. Day three, they come back, they turn it on, nothing else. And by the end of the 30 days, this guy is out of his bedroom, his room is clean, and he's out in the world, which he was scared of. And it always made me think, like, the first step to real change isn't some great leap which is going to cause huge cognitive dissonance and discomfort. It is often so embarrassingly small that we don't think it's consequential.
Yeah.
And I think about that with my life all the time. I'm like, actually, maybe the first step here is just like buying a notepad, to start writing my book.
There is definitely a sense that focusing our attention on a small step kind of reveals the smallness of our lives. That like, oh my God, I said that I sat down at my desk. Like, how pitiful. Is this really how small I've become? I should have this big cathedral of achievements and monumental stuff. You go, well, yeah, but how do you get there? Okay, well, we've got to lay the first brick. So humility, being humble and compassionate to yourself. Okay, I did a thing today. I went for a walk. Felt like crap. I ate this bad sushi last night. And I did one thing. One small thing that moved me toward my goal. So anyway.
Maybe that's because we never get to see that first small step. We get to see the outcome. So if I'm thinking about becoming a podcaster and following in your footsteps, I see you've got this fucking digital screen where you've got Matthew McConaughey sat in the set of his movie. And I'm thinking, God, that's a long way to go.
Well, the beautiful thing about a lot of stuff on the internet is that it is archived for the rest of time. So you can go back and watch my first ever episode, which is me in my old office for the nightclub stuff that I did. And my business partner yelled at me afterward because I kicked everybody out so that I could record. And he's like, you can't keep doing this. It's not your studio, it's our office. And it's a single iPhone and a blue Yeti USB mic that looks like a big white dildo. And it's up and over the top of the desk. And it's me and a friend from the gym talking about how we might row the Atlantic one day.
Embarrassing to start there for someone that's watching you do Matthew McConaughey in a digital screen. It's embarrassing.
But also not, because that was the first step. But that wasn't the first step. The first step was deciding what name it was going to be and then driving to Gateshead to buy the Yeti secondhand from some dude on eBay. And that Yeti went on to do 500 episodes of my podcast. And then we changed to nicer microphones or something. So everybody's journey begins embarrassingly small. And I think just having a little bit of compassion for yourself, having the humility to go, the first step that I do is going to be so small that it almost wouldn't register on the ledger of accomplishments. It would be minute. Going, okay, that's still a win. So first thing, you don't know what to do. Second thing, you know what to do, but you don't know how to do it. So you can sit down in front of the spreadsheet and you know that you've got to do a VLOOKUP on this spreadsheet. We have no idea how to do a VLOOKUP.
What's a VLOOKUP?
It's some Excel thing that Excel nerds will know. ChatGPT, Google, ring a boss, ring a friend that is an expert in Excel. So for me, when I look at my procrastination, it occurs due to usually one of two things. Poorly defined next physical action. I don't know exactly what the next smallest step is that moves me toward my goal. I do know that, and I sit down and I don't know how to do it. Like, how do I, if you don't know how to open a file, you don't know how to unzip a file, it doesn't matter how many files you've got in front of you, if you can't unzip them, you can't see them. So, okay, I need to learn, hey, dude, I got this zip file, where do I go to get it? Oh, okay, thank you. And then we've got moving. So it's either a action issue or a skill issue. And both of those are usually pretty simply fixed.
I read in your newsletter, you talk about how some people procrastinate because they're scared of what they'll find out about themselves if they try the thing. And I thought, that's so true.
I mean, the upside of never trying is never having to feel the pain of failure. Right? If you never face that discomfort, like if I tell myself that all women are terrible, then I'm excused of ever having to talk to a woman. And as a result, I never have to feel the pain of rejection. If I tell myself that everything is shit or that things will never get better, I'm excused of ever having to try at anything. It's more comfortable to get fatalistic and call it pragmatism. Like the cope is framing hope as pathetic and embarrassing and optimism as delusion. This is cynicism, right? Cynicism. And the opposite of that is enthusiasm. Since moving to America, I've been surrounded by very enthusiastic people. Americans kind of have permanent first-line cocaine energy. And I like enthusiasm. I wish I could, export some of it back to the UK. You know what I was really disappointed by? Me and you featured in an article recently in a very well-known British paper. Maybe this came across your desk and maybe not.
No, I have no idea.
Okay, so it was the same week that the Spotify Wrapped came out.
Yeah.
And in the top 10 in the world, there's me, you, and Jay Shetty.
Yeah.
So there's 3 Brits. I think we're punching above our weight.
Yeah, 100%.
With regards to this. Lady who wrote this article basically said it was a rejection of our patriotic inheritance that we were trying to do self-improvement at scale. Like whatever happened to the British stiff upper lipness where we sort of feel stoically satisfied in our own loneliness and misery. That's like almost an exact quote.
Really?
Yeah, it really made me sad. And it made me sad for a few reasons. First off, the UK is not exactly showering itself in glory at the moment. There is an entire content bucket of American streamers reacting to news from the UK and going, oh, the downfall of the UK with the whatever. Whether that's true or not, the optics aren't great coming out of the UK at the moment. And you've got 3 people who have done it. I don't know whether Jay is from working class, but I'm from as working class can be. I know that you're like even lower than me somehow. Congratulations. And wherever Jay's from, and you've managed to get these 3 guys who are genuinely trying to make the world a better place, really working hard at it. And your main takeaway was not, during a time where the UK is kind of eating shit on the global stage, congratulations to 3 people who can show young entrepreneurs, people that want to do personal development, improve their own lives, that maybe you can do it too. And maybe we all got lucky. I don't know. But it made me real sad to read that. And this isn't just that I was like, oh, it would have been nice if the UK, UK press had backed us and said, good on you guys. But on top of that, it just reminded me of a mindset in the UK that kind of has like Stockholm syndrome for their own sad moments, for their own like zero-sum, like tall poppy thing. And I really don't like the tall poppy syndrome in the UK. And it made me sad to read that.
If I had one wish for people in the UK, and if you're listening now, there's a high possibility you're in the UK, is lift people up and be positive.
Dude.
Like clap for strangers. If someone does something, if someone falls flat on their face in the pursuit of a big goal, clap for them. Go, that was amazing, at least you tried. Because their success paves the way for us all to fail and fall flat on our face. But right now there's a bit of an inversion of that. I was in San Francisco last week, and I swear to you, one woman came up to me. She told me 3 times she had failed at her startup. She's now back living with her mum, and she wore it like a credential and a badge of honor, because in that room it is. But back home, that's a hit piece. That's the hippies.
Look at this stupid delusional woman who tried to do this thing. It's evidently not going to work. How embarrassing.
Oh yeah, her employees have been let go. She owes this much. All these things. It would be framed as a negative. And actually, when I read the thing, the Spotify top 10 thing, yes, we're all doing self-improvement stuff, but for me, that's kind of beside the point. We built media businesses. And there's not a lot of, in terms of competing with America and competing with the rest of the world, it's crazy that 3 British entrepreneurs managed to contend with the United States, the home of media. Yeah. More capital, more brand partners, more access to talent, everything is here, it seems. And for 3 Brits to do that, I was so proud. And I actually don't need anyone to tell me, I was so proud of you, I was so proud of Jay, because that is, it's a real underdog thing. And many of us started a lot later than the people that feature in that list.
You know the Indiana Jones movie where he's like running and the big door's coming down, the big stone door, and it's coming down real slow, and he's running. He slides underneath and he grabs his hat as he comes in. I kind of feel like that was us in the podcasting world. We just snuck in before this sort of explosion, and you know, we rode the increase in platform size. But yeah, look, dude, having people around you that genuinely are prepared to watch you take big swings is something I wish I could gift to the UK. Like, the way that I would put it is, Americans want you to succeed in case you take them with you on the journey. And the worst parts of British culture don't want you to succeed in case you leave them behind. And I know that there are so many people that this is just a mimetic issue, that if you had one key mover within a group, that would start to spread and spread and spread. But to the people in the UK that are doers and are builders and are actually making stuff happen, like, you have one of the hardest jobs in the world. Because not only have you got to get over the lonely chapter, the challenge, the difficulty, the procrastination, the getting up early, I've got to stop drinking caffeine 90 minutes after waking, holy fuck, there's so much on my plate. You have this additional gravity of a culture that doesn't tend to celebrate success and risk-taking in quite the same way. So if that's you, I think, like, power to you. I really do. And there is a community of people out there, even if it feels lonely now.
What do you think of the UK versus US conversations generally? Do you think it's really as bad as you hear on X or on social media? Do you think the UK is really as doomed?
I don't know, man. I mean, I hesitate. I don't like to throw a ton of shade at the country that I left 4 years ago now, because it does feel a bit like pulling the ladder up after I got the last lifeboat off the Titanic, and me going like, sorry. I had my problems while I was there. I had my criticisms of the UK while I was still in the UK. I wish that people were more positive some. I wish that there was less tall poppy syndrome. I wish that risk was more celebrated. You know, we have the same number of universities in the top 10 in the world as America, but we produce 80% fewer entrepreneurs. And what is entrepreneurialism? It's like vision, it's risk-taking, it's being prepared to do something that hasn't been done before. And maybe there's something else that I'm not seeing that's a part of the, maybe it's the weather, you know, maybe it's the fact that we're a waterlocked island, or that the population density is 10 times that of the US. But there's something, I feel like, bottom up, that's putting a bit of a restriction on people. And yeah, it was a shame. It was a shame to see that the UK press was just living out the exact cultural script that I assumed that they would. Shame.